Compassion is often going to come with personal sacrifice. And this sounds like a great thing that we would say, yeah, I want to be compassionate. I want to go and demonstrate love to people. This is how I'm going to announce the kingdom. But let's not fool ourselves. With this kind of life, living to be compassionate towards others, it's going to cost us. This is not announcing to your niece or nephew that the kingdom of heaven is near because you bought a chocolate bar for them in their fundraising in their fundraising campaign at their school. This is to announce the kingdom of heaven to those who you may disagree with or even those who hate you. I need you to go and announce the kingdom of heaven to them by caring for their needs and praying for them and freely giving as I freely receive. This is finding people that mistreat me or hurt me and saying, the kingdom of heaven is near. I want you to demonstrate love and compassion to them. How we announce is showing compassion. And what we see David sacrifices his personal wealth, his personal possession, what he has, in order to reconcile with Mephibosheth and Saul's family. He gives of his own wealth so that Mephibosheth understands this is what the kingdom of heaven looks like. Let's look at verse 7 in 2 Samuel 9. When they found Mephibosheth, he's terrified because he thinks that David's going to enact vengeance on him. But he says, don't be afraid, David said. I intend to show kindness to you because of my promise to your father Jonathan, because the Lord bonded them together, remember in our study a few weeks ago. I will give you all the property that once belonged to your grandfather Saul. He's not only honoring Jonathan, but he's honoring Saul. And you will eat here with me at the king's table. And we need to consider what would have happened to Mephibosheth in his life if David has not stepped in and cared for his life. He was crippled. He had no ability to work and provide for himself. He's Saul's descendant, so David should have wanted him dead. David's allies definitely wanted him dead. He had really no other family members to care for him. His life is in the very balance. And David decides, you know what, the way that I'm going to announce the kingdom of heaven in my life, in my community, in my circle, is to find anyone that's related to Saul and Jonathan, which is Mephibosheth, and show true compassion, one who would have never expected it. This is the teaching Jesus gave in the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5:46-48. If you only love those who love you, what reward is there for that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much. If you are kind to only your friends, how are you different than anyone else? Even pagans do that. You are to be perfect in the way that you demonstrate love, is what we understand, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. The kind of compassion that we're talking about, that is compassion which is characteristic of the kingdom of heaven, is demonstrated because of how it transforms somebody else's life. It's not because of what it means for me in my life and because I love a person, so I'm going to demonstrate compassion. It means I'm going to demonstrate compassion to a person because of how it transforms their life. Think of how God loved us. That when just the right time, just when we needed it, before we had ever confessed our need of Christ, he demonstrated his love for us. That's what kingdom compassion is all about. And really, it's the way that we love other people that we are demonstrating our love for Christ. Look at Matthew 25:37-40. This is Jesus telling a parable of those who didn't understand why they were being turned away from the kingdom when it was time for eternity. And the righteous ones will reply, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink, or a stranger and show you hospitality, or naked and give you clothing? When did we ever see you sick, in prison, or visit you? And the king will say, I tell you the truth, when you did it to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were doing it to me. And conversely, he says the very same thing to those who are turned away. When you neglected to do it to me, you neglected to do it. When you neglected to do it to them, you neglected to do it to me. To embody the kingdom, to be compassionate people like Jesus wants and expects of us, we need to show compassion to those whom we would never think who would never think we would be compassionate towards.